Dan Quinn informed everyone that, hey, I'm staying in Dallas for another year. That's good news. That's really good news to hear from the defensive coordinator. Now, here's the thing. How long you staying, Dan? Are you staying for 3 more years, or you just staying for this 1 year? Now, it's hard to pass up on a Parsons, man, to coach that guy, and then to also to coach Trayvon Diggs, and knowing what we can get out of this draft. It's hard to pass up on that type of stuff. Shout out to Dan Quinn for pretty much, he probably went into those interviews and said, you know what? I really like the Denver Broncos, but it's better to be over here in Dallas. And he probably went into the Chicago interview and said, hey, man, I'm looking at the terrain and everything. You know, it was nice over there in Dallas, you know, opposed to being over there in Chicago. And shout out to Matt Eberflus, man, to getting that job as the head coach over there in Chicago. They're going to generate some good stuff over there, by the way. And shout out to Nathaniel Hackett, man, for getting that job over there in Denverland. So we don't know who is going to scoop up that New York Giants job. I was really thinking that Dan Quinn would say, hey, give me that New York Giants job. It's close to New Jersey or what have you. He's from that area. Nevertheless, it's good that he's here. Now that we know that Joe Witt Jr. is actually interviewing for the Steelers job, maybe he can get on the phone and say, hey, Joe, come on back, man. But being a defensive coordinator is a major thing for Joe Witt Jr. to get his footprint going in the National Football League as a known defensive guy, and that's good for him. Hope he get the job. You know, shout out to Joe Witt Jr. However, the Cowboys need to really say to themselves, if you want to keep things consistent, the continuity, you got to have that defensive coordinator here, not looking around next year. You got to establish something for a long term, baby. You know, if you guys get what I'm saying. This brings a lot of good stuff to us for Dan Quinn coming back for at least another year. It brings now, these are the things Dan Quinn can say, hey, remember last year, you was at this level. Now look at the philosophy and the teaching that I'm bringing you now. And he can really say, okay, Parsons, you grew because I taught you this. Oh, on the front, Osa, you grew because I taught you that. You know, so those things, man, brings a lot to the table. And it keeps some of the free agency for the Cowboys, like the J-Ron Curse or what have you. Now he can be looking at it saying, okay, even though he may not have coached J-Ron Curse as an individual, but the philosophy and the culture, that is what the defensive coordinator can bring and say, hey, I help you out in this fashion. Hey, we drew up this particular scheme. Hey, you was the green dot guy. Now he can continue to listen to Dan Quinn as he called the plays through. So Dan Quinn informed teams he's staying with the Cowboys per sources, and this is Tom Paracello. 16 requested head coaching interviews with Dan Quinn, who declined, and he wanted to return to Dallas and try to win the Super Bowl. He should be hot name again next year. So we know that this is not a situation where it's a one-off. Dan Quinn, he really want to help this team get to the Super Bowl. I encourage all Cowboy fans right now, get Super Bowl out of your mouth. Get it out of your thoughts. Let's look at it like this. Let's continue to win our division, get to the playoff. Your number one goal will be to win a playoff game. That should be the goal. And the other goal will be making sure that the level of consistency and the establishment on your defensive side is there. Disciplined football, win games as well. So let's stop giving penalties away, right? So let's focus in on technique. Let's focus in on scheme on the defensive side. And I love defense, Cowboy Nation. Let's draft this defense to solidify this team ultimately. Defense, when you look into it, What can help this defense out even more? The core. Get you a big boy inside, get you a safety over the top. Oh, my goodness. So those things can help out this team tremendously. And we all know that when we talk about safety look, maybe we don't get a Jaquan Brisker. Maybe we can't afford to get a Kyle Hamilton because he's long gone, or a Daxton Hill, a Lewis. All of those guys, Nick Cross, shout out to Nick Cross, man, from Maryland. Y'all check out his tape. Maybe you can't get those guys. Maybe you get somebody that can fit in like a Reed Blankenship. You can really look into this thing down the line and maybe find that safety that can help out this team. And what we got to say to ourselves, the establishment, the continuity, can we present those things to the table to help this team out? And can we do it a little bit via the draft? And can we do a little bit of it via free agency? We got the core together. Parsons, Diggs, Kevin Joseph, Dan Quinn already spoke glowingly of Kevin Joseph. Maybe we can see another growth aspect between Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis. Let's get this defense back on the same page. Shout out to DeMarcus Lawrence. And we will see what we're going to do with Randy Gregory, or whether or not we're going to pay that big money for him, because this is a big contract time for him. Shout out to Dan Quinn for staying, and he will be our defensive coordinator. Those are facts right there for the 2022 season. We will have the same DC. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. DC for life. Salute. But when we talk about offense, you got two situations. Mike McCarthy, he's in the hot seat. Some can paint him as the lame duck coach, right? We don't know if that's going to motivate him, right, or it's going to deflate him. That's the thing we don't know, right? We got Sean Payton, who is the star in Jerry Jones' eyes, right? In most fans' eyes right now, right? And then you have Boy Wonder, Kellen Moore, going into his fourth year as the offensive coordinator. Those are things that you have to say to yourself, all right, what's going to happen? Will we have a motivated Mike McCarthy or deflate Mike McCarthy? He's in the hot seat, or he's the lame duck coach. Look what you done. At the end of the day, it boils down to self-preservation. And if you already know that you're going to get the axe, and you know that you're not the favorite, sometimes it shows in your work and your production. So we'll find out now, this season that's hanging over the heads of the Cowboys, what type of head coach you got. Will he fold? Will he coach better? Will it be more of the same?